This is Keeping It Real Estate with Gavin and Nici. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm great. It is so nice to kick off this new year with you in here. I haven't seen you. How
Thanks,
was your new
Nici.
year?
It was great. Awesome. And you?
It was absolutely amazing, and certainly looking forward to this new year. And of course, hearing about all the fun, exciting things in the world of real estate.
That's right, for sure. So we are going to, go back in time a little bit and do the monthly market update. I know everyone's fave. And so although it's January, we are talking about December numbers. So as we wrapped up 2025, the real estate market across the Globe region was very steady, even through the holidays.
Really?
It was active. It was opportunity filled. I saw listings coming on even during the holidays and homes going under contract. So even though it's our slower time, we saw a lot of it. It's not like it's gangbusters, but there was enough of it going on. I think everybody was pleasantly surprised by that.
Okay.
Even in that season that's traditionally quieter.
Yeah.
While every county obviously tells a story, and we're going to unpack that, the big picture was really clear that homes are still moving, pricing is holding, and buyers and sellers can succeed with the right strategy. And that's the thing, like I've been saying over and over again the last few months, this is a strategy-based market.
Right.
Not seller market, not a buyer market. You've heard me say it's a property-by-property market, but it's certainly all about strategy.
So real quick, before we get into all the numbers, I'm
it.
curious, before we get the actual answers, have you seen a dip in prices? I'm talking in the month of December, because I as an outsider looking in would have thought for sure winter and holidays, people are struggling to sell houses.
Yeah, it's a great question. So you certainly saw some price reductions, but I don't think that was necessarily driven by the season.
Okay.
I think if you've got homes that were sitting there for a bit, they priced where they priced, and now the seller is more motivated, or for whatever reason, they're like, you know what, we got to part with this, or let's see if that price adjustment influences more activity. You certainly saw that.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that if that same house presented its best to its ability in a different season, maybe it was going to hold at that price.
Okay.
So I think it's all about seller motivation. We did see some price adjustments. And I don't think necessarily that sellers have the mentality right now that just because it's winter, I'm going to ask less than I should in another time. If they're doing that, they should really hold off until a season they think that makes sense, or they're able to really present the home the best of their ability.
Okay.
So, we're going to talk about the Glow region as a snapshot, all counties combined, but then we're going to unpack county by county. So put your seatbelts on, people. We got a lot to talk about. Across Genesee, Livingston, Orleans, and Wyoming counties, December activity did show that consistent buyer demand was still there.
I'm impressed.
Particularly and this kind of gets back to your question, Nici, particularly in the affordable and mid-price ranges. Now, I know everybody wants to laugh when they say affordable. We all have a different interpretation of what that is. But what I'm talking about is kind of where the first-time home buyers are qualified, or where the majority of buyers are qualified. So when we're talking about that, we're talking in like the $150,000 to $250,000 range in our area.
Okay.
And that's where we saw consistent buyer demand, no matter what was going on outside and with the season and with the holidays. We had balanced days on the market, generally 35 to 45 days for single-family homes throughout the Glow region. And we also saw a healthy mix of financing options throughout the Glow region. So conventional loans were leading, of course, but cash was still there.
Yeah.
We're always surprised by that, but it's still there. But we also saw FHA, USDA, and VA buyers all actively participating throughout the Glow region. So that's a healthy mix. That's a good thing. Continued interest in multifamily properties were there, and land, although we didn't see a lot of those listings popping up in December. But when we did see multifamily properties, duplexes, triples, all those things in land, acreage, we saw cash buyers and investors really leading the charge on those purchases. It remained a strategy-driven market, as I said, not a throw a sign in the yard and get it done type sales thing. That isn't working in any market right now. It's not just seasonality. Sellers, you've got to really do the prep work. So preparation matters more than ever from now moving forward. And I always think it is, no matter what's going on in the market. I don't care if it's a seller's market. You always want to and need to present that property in its best light.
Now, Also, I just want to ask too, because I know there's been a lot of mention about our area being in that bubble, right? Not really catching up.
Kind
to
of
the rest
lagging,
of-
yeah.
Are we still considered, and are you still seeing us?
I think we are. I
Well,
think we're
okay.
lagging a bit. I don't think we did the big dip that maybe other areas surrounding us or even nationwide certainly saw, and now they're kind of rebuilding. We just kind of kept steady Eddie.
Okay.
Which is nice. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what Nici's referring to with that bubble. We didn't see that big dip that other areas of the country saw. We just have kind of been, tried and true moving forward. So that's kind of nice. We're consistent. So,
Yeah.
in my prediction in an upcoming episode, I think we have nowhere to go but up, truly. So
I like
that's
that.
my
Okay,
thing. So
I'm
anyway,
excited.
so Genesee County, let's talk about it.
Yep.
In December of 2025, it continued to be a strong, well-balanced market. The median single-family sale price was around $288,000, $288,500. The average days on the market was around 42. Still moving.
Yeah.
And again, you might see a little bit slower. We were kind of averaging around 35 days on the market. You see that extra week there. That can be indicative of the season and 2 major holidays in that time. So,
Oh, true.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
So we saw in Genesee County a finance mix, strong conventional presence as we normally do, but we also saw some solid FHA, USDA, VA, and cash activity. No surprises there.
Nice.
In Genesee County, inventory had a steady flow of new listings with reliable buyer absorption.
So excited.
Say that 10 times fast. I know, I'm so excited. And again, that just points back to what I've been saying, that when homes hit the market, they were presented well. They went under contract quickly. So the snow and the holiday did not deter buyers once that property hit, was priced right, and it was presented well.
Wow. Okay.
My
great.
seller insight in Genesee County for December 2025, the well-priced homes were still moving, and buyers, regardless of that, buyers are still paying close attention to condition and value. So, it's a little tug of war here. Sellers, you got to do your job. Buyers, you got to do your job. Buyers are picky now. So even though, we're still in low inventory, they're paying attention to the condition.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Buyer insight in Genesee County based on 2025 numbers. Financing options remain diverse. Like I mentioned, we had a mixture of financing types. First-time home buyers, I saw a little uptick in them using FHA, and that's great because we haven't seen consistency in that in a long time. And we also saw some USDA become active. We haven't seen that in years, so that's a healthy mix of financing options. Buyers are getting their offers accepted with those financing options is what that means, and so that's a good thing.
Okay.
That's great.
I like it.
Let's talk about Livingston County, moving on to our L in GLOW for December 2025. And what we saw in Livingston County is that the higher end price strength, we had those kind of higher end houses in December, and we still saw continued buyer engagement. Again, these are small numbers, guys, so we didn't have a lot of those affordable, quote-unquote, range homes listing in Livingston County in December. What we did see is the median single-family sale price range of around $450,000. So, again, these are small numbers. Again, it was just the homes that were on the higher end that were listing, and those are the ones that were absorbed. And so the average days on the market in Livingston County in December was around 35 days.
They're moving then.
They're moving because I think their vicinity to Rochester. If people aren't being successful in Rochester, still one of the number one markets, crazier markets in the country, then they're moving out a little bit. And maybe they're choosing Livingston County for its quality and the opportunities there. We did see a healthy mix of financing in Livingston County in December. Conventional and cash dominated, not surprisingly, but we did see FHA, VA, and even some private seller financing contracts go through. Nice. So a little creativity, a little mix in there. If we talk about multifamily homes in Livingston County in December, there was limited inventory. There was across the region, but there's strong interest when those opportunities are available. So my tip for sellers and my seller insight based on December in Livingston, premium properties were selling when they were positioned correctly. And professional pricing and presentation were key.
Yeah.
So those higher end properties, even though near December, they were absorbed. They went under contract quickly because they were positioned right.
I'm impressed. Okay.
Yeah. Buyer insight. The competition exists in Livingston County for the reasons we just saw. So you need to be prepared. You can't wait. You've got to have your financing and your numbers ready, and your strong offers, strong, clean offers mattered in Livingston County in December.
Wow.
Let's move on to Orleans County. So in December of 2025, Orleans County continues to shine as an affordable, accessible market with steady demand. Although I still believe that our inventory is quite low there. And when I'm talking about that affordable demand, you're going to understand why here. Based on those small numbers up there, the median single family price up there was around $140,000. Okay. So total different story of what was going on in December in Livingston, of what was happening in Orleans. And the average days on the market in Orleans was around 40 days. Again, seasonality
Not
could be
bad,
condition of the home too. We saw a mix of financing. It was broad. We saw a broad mix of conventional, FHA, USDA, VA, and cash, all active in that market. So that really speaks to me as a balancing market in December, based on those low numbers of inventory of what was going on there.
Right? We
Yeah,
like that
it's
balancing.
good. It doesn't mean it's going to stay that way.
Right,
But I think
okay.
in December, people are like, you know what? We're getting really cold up here. We're closer to the lake. If we've got a list, we're going to list. And again, the median price of what was listed and what was selling around there was 140. That's going to change, guys, for sure.
Wow.
Definitely investor interest up there, especially in the lower priced homes, maybe those fixer-uppers, they're not move-in ready, investor specials, and small multifamily properties. I think people are really thinking, okay, if I can get my mortgage paid for me or contributed to, maybe I do move into a duplex or a multifamily home as a owner occupant. Or maybe I'm an investor and I see an opportunity to fix up a home that needs some love to do that. So in Orleans County, my seller insight there for December 2025, what we saw was entry-level pricing brought buyers quickly, but the condition and the inspections were front of mind. So you had some inventory to work with, but at the end of the day, if somebody's financing was like, you know what, this is not going to pass an FHA inspection, maybe that it contributes to the days on the market of why it didn't move so quickly.
Okay.
You know, buyers have to be choosy, even those ones that are qualified a little bit lower, because their appraisal is going to have to really make the deal work. And if it doesn't, if there's findings, even if it gets through a home inspection and the buyer is willing to take on those repairs, if the bank says it's not worth that amount or this needs to be done, that maybe busted up some deals.
Ooh, tough. Okay.
Yep. And for buyers, there's great value opportunities in Orleans County. I always feel that is the case up there. And they still exist, especially for first-time home buyers. You've just got to make sure that that's where you want to be and you understand that that's going to work for you. So that's my shtick on Orleans County in December of 2025.
Okay.
Last but not least, our W and Glow, Wyoming County, based on December 2025. It remained a stable, value-driven market with reliable buyer demand, so steady Eddie there. Again, we're talking about small numbers. This is all going to change. But in December, the median single-family sale price was around $185,000. Okay, so in that kind of quote-unquote affordable range. The average days on the market were around 37 days, so things moved. And there was a strong financing mix again. We're seeing a pattern here throughout the Glow region in December. So there was a strong cash presence alongside conventional FHA, USDA, and VA loans. The land and rural properties, there's always interest in Wyoming County for those, especially those that are closer in vicinity to Erie County and in the Buffalo metro area.
Yeah.
So there's continued interest there, particularly from cash buyers, really healthy there. The seller insight I have for Wyoming County based on December 2025, the rural and acreage properties benefit from clear marketing and realistic pricing. When they're priced right, presented well, they're not drawing people just from the immediate area or the Glow region. People are coming from out of area, Erie County, Allegheny County, Cattaraugus, etc.
Really?
Absolutely. Buyer insight for Wyoming County based on December 2025, cash buyers have the leverage. They just always do. But finance buyers were still winning with really good terms. So, it's a mixed bag. You have to understand what your competition might be and be prepared for that. So what this means for buyers and sellers in general, with our market update here, buyers, I sound like a broken record, but I think it deserves to be heard over and over again for this in any market. Get pre-approved early if you're financing a purchase and you're not a cash buyer. There are multiple loan types that are active in the Glow region. We know that to be certain now. So look at what your options are and speak to your loan originator. You need to really focus on and have the conversation with your lender about your payment comfort, what that monthly note is going to be, not just the purchase price. Purchase price, you might get sticker shock, but what really does it mean to you on a monthly basis, and can you make that monthly payment? You have to unpack those details with your lender, and you need to do it now.
And I think that's so important too, especially because so many people kind of try not to think or worry about it when it should be very much so discussed. Absolutely.
It's your single most important thing. Like the price is here and you're like, but you really need to know what it means to you. And so get down into the granular details, or what are the taxes? What's the principal? What's my home insurance going to be? And then it might feel better, or you might need to understand that it doesn't feel good. So I really need to, I might be qualified at a certain level, but that's not my level of comfort.
Yeah.
So now if that monthly payment doesn't feel good, or you feel like you're one job layoff away from not making that, right? Then let's come up with a plan that makes better sense. So those are the conversations that need to happen now. Be decisive when the right home appears, and the only way that you can be decisive is having those numbers in your head and knowing what you're comfortable with. Period. For sellers, my takeaway for you and advice is pricing correctly from day one is critical. You know, I get it. You're going to still listen to Cousin Sally and somebody that sold 5 years ago and what you want, quote unquote, and what you need, quote unquote. But at the end of the day, the market is going to determine what that home sells for based on how you present it. So pricing from day one is critical. It really is. No one's afraid of a price reduction necessarily, but don't risk that and stigmatizing your listing if you don't need to. Homes that show well and are market ready still attract the strong interest in any market. People are still buying and selling out of necessity. We still have low numbers. There's your opportunity, sellers. The strategic marketing matters more than ever. So again, it's not just about putting a sign up. Work with an agent that understands what your goals are, how you're going to market that in market, out of market, how you're going to present it, what the strategic plan is to properly position your property in the market. Those details matter. Have those conversations with your agent. So my final takeaway, based on our monthly market update here for the Glow region, it continues to offer real opportunity, whether you're buying your first home, selling to right size into that house that makes more sense for you, or investing locally. Success in today's market comes down to good data, smart strategy, and strong representation. And if you'd like a hyper-local breakdown based on your town, your village, your price point, or property type, I'm always happy to help. Contact me, Gavin, at Townsend at Hunt Real Estate in Batavia. I'm at 585-344-1321, and I'm happy to sit down with you and schedule your complimentary buyer or seller consultation.
Absolutely. And as always, thank you so much. We absolutely love doing this little rundown of our little Glow region, and it's always interesting to see these numbers fluctuate or really remain the same, which I honestly, I'm a little shocked about December. I expected those numbers to be different.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't plummet. Yeah, we didn't plummet. There's some seasonality to it for sure. There's that flavor of it, but we kept seeing the listings come on, and they kept getting under contract. So you know what? It speaks again to folks, buyers, sellers. We are still in low inventory. There's no magic wand to make this inventory go up anytime soon. So be aware and be prepared.
Absolutely. Well, I certainly hope you have a wonderful week. And as always, well, I guess not go Bills anymore, but certainly.
Always go Bills. Always go Bills.
You're right. Go Bills. All right. We'll be back next week right here.
Thanks, everyone.
And Real Estate with Miss Gavin Townsend.